there's a lot of people who go vegan for environmental and ethical reasons, and those are really valid reasons to stop eating animal products. But a vegan diet can include an awful lot of non-nutritious foods. So a whole food plant-based diet consists of foods as grown, foods from nature.
Can you explain to us what exactly is a whole food plant-based diet? What is it?
This is
really confusing for people.
This is an awesome question because there's a lot of people who go vegan for environmental and ethical reasons, and those are really valid reasons to stop eating animal products. But a vegan diet can include an awful lot of non-nutritious foods. So a whole food plant-based diet consists of foods as grown, foods from nature. So it's basically fruits, vegetables, whole grains or minimally processed grains, legumes, lentils, peas and beans, and nuts and seeds in variable quantities depending on your weight, your chronic disease status, basically your energy needs.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I guess what you're trying to say, it's a food in its most natural state as possible and as less processed as possible. Because when you say grains, you're meaning, because grains have to go through a bit of a process to become
edible, absolutely.
Or something to become edible,
yeah. So as a general rule of thumb, when I'm trying to decide whether a food should be incorporated into my diet or the diets people I advise, I've got two broad questions. One is, can I just look at this food and know what it is? Okay, so you can look at a grain of rice and go, that's a grain of rice, like it's pretty obvious. But when you look at a rice cereal, you don't really know, you don't really know what that is. Even more so, say a loaf of bread. There could be anything in there. There frequently is, depending on what kind of bread it is. Now, it's not that all forms of processing are bad though. So my second question is, if this food is processed, is it processing that I could do myself at home with fairly basic home equipment?
That makes sense.
So if I wanted to make tofu, if I could be bothered, I could.
You could.
I'd cook up the soybeans, I'd blend them up with some water, I'd strain them, I'd add a coagulant. You can buy home tofu making kits. They're not that hard. So I could do that. Could I make a vegan chicken nugget out of soy protein isolate? No, because I don't have a chemical factory in my kitchen, right? I have some cooking equipment, but I don't have vats of various chemicals to extract the acid extrusion.
Totally makes sense, So obviously that's it. Whole food plant-based diet is exactly that. As natural as possible. Without all the lab.
Foods as grown or processed in ways that you could easily replicate in the home kitchen.
Cool, excellent, that's great. So now for the big questions that we get asked regularly around a whole food plant-based lifestyle. The first, why no animal products?
This is an excellent question, and the answer to this is rather nuanced. If you are currently in good health and at your optimal weight, and you've got pretty solid genes, right? There's not a lot of terrible, nasty diseases in your family. So in other words, if your family tree doesn't look like mine, then we currently don't have the scientific evidence to say that you must totally exclude animal products from your diet in order to preserve your health. We have very strong evidence that the less animal products you eat, the better. But we can't at this point take it that one step further and say you need to go 100%. For environmental and ethical reasons, I would argue that those of us who live in wealthy industrialised countries like Australia, where we can choose to eat anything we want and get all our nutrient needs met, I would say we have a moral obligation to not eat animal products. And if you have a chronic degenerative disease, if you have type 2 diabetes, if you have cardiovascular disease, if you have an autoimmune disease, then the evidence that we have up to this point says that if you want to recover your health, you should dump the animal products entirely.
Okay.
All right?
That makes total sense.